Hi, everybody. Welcome to Read the Room, SUAB's first event of the semester. Woo woo! Yes, love the support. Welcome, everybody. How are y'all today? My name is Jasmine. I am the speaker's chair for this year, so hello. I'm gonna start us off with the icebreaker. So we're going to be playing popcorn. Most of you probably know what that icebreaker is, but for those of you who don't, I'm going to start us off. I'm going to say a statement that's true about me. Well, I'm going to introduce myself, say a statement that's true about me, and if you resonate with that statement, if you can relate to it, just jump in, introduce yourself, and say, like if I say, oh, my favorite color is orange, you can say, oh, hey, yeah, I'm Jasmine. My favorite color is also orange. And then say something about yourself that's true and keep it going. Everybody who can relate to what you say, the next person says, they'll just continue on like that. Everybody understand? Okay, so I'm gonna go first. If you can relate, just jump in. My name is Jasmine and I live on campus this semester.
My name is Janelle. I am currently the Cultural Affairs Chair of NCAT, and my favorite color is purple.
My name is Ashton, and my favorite color is purple, and I have a dog.
My name is Darian. I also have a dog. I have two dogs. I am the president of SUAB, and my favorite color is blue.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ayana. I serve as secretary for SUAB this year, and my favorite color is also blue. I live off campus this semester.
Oh, you got it.
My name is Uriah. I'm novelty chair for SAB this year, and I can swim.
I can swim too. I love to swim. My name is Corey, they, she pronouns. I like to paint.
Hi, my name is Imani. I also like to paint, and I love shrimp Alfredo.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, I love me some shrimp Alfredo too. But my name is Jerron. I'm the parliamentarian for this year. I'm a kinesiology student from Atlanta, Georgia. Live in Charlotte. I'm a junior.
My name is Preston. I'm the gaming and cinema chair for the SUAB this year. I'm also a junior business management student from Maryland. I like shoes.
Hey everybody, I'm Indasia Gerald. I am a senior elementary education major and I like shoes as well. And I guess I will say I'm from Greensboro.
Was that everybody?
No.
No? Okay.
I'm not from Greensboro, but I'll go. I'm Taylor. I'm the treasurer this year. I could have stole a lot of y'all's. I agree with a lot of y'all. Monty got me with the Alfredo. Preston got me with the shoes. But I like to travel if anybody else likes to travel.
If no one can relate, you can always say something else until
So,
somebody jumps in.
I don't know. I'm not the only child. Anybody else not the only child? I'm the middle child. Did everybody not go? Like who we?
I'm sorry, I didn't go. I forgot. What was the questions?
You're just introducing yourself and saying something about yourself that's true that others maybe can relate to.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well, my name is Jeremy Fraud. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. This is my first year as a graduate student at North Carolina A&T. I don't really have anything interesting about myself. I love popcorn.
Popcorn is great.
That's the game we're playing, popcorn.
That's so ironic. Okay, was that everybody?
I didn't hear Miss Gaither.
Hi everyone, my name is Kalia. I am the media relations person for this year. I like to take pictures. I like to listen to music.
That's good.
Hey Kalia, I like to take pictures too. My name is Faith, the Vice President of the 2021 school year. I love to wear wigs. I love lip gloss. I love outfits.
I love to fashion.
I love to work out. Oh, okay.
Loves taking pictures. That's so good, Joshua. Okay, I think that was everybody. So just the purpose of that exercise was just, get us familiar with each other. This is a safe space, so I want everybody to be comfortable enough with each other to, voice their opinions and whatnot and just know each other and interact. So that was really good. I'm going to start sharing my screen with you guys now. Pretty good. I'm not tech savvy, y'all, so it took me a while to get this down. Okay. So yeah, read the room, a discussion on adjusting to our new campus life. Just did that. So I first want to start off with this idea of community. How is community defined? As you can see here, it's defined as a group of interdependent organisms of different species growing or living together in a specified habitat. That's kind of a physical, technical definition. It's also described as a feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. It's also the people of a district or country considered collectively, especially in the context of social values, responsibilities, and society. So with this, I kind of want us to think about these definitions of community and kind of how it relates to us here at A&T. As you all know, A&T is like a big community. We almost have 13,000 students. So yeah, this is definitely a big community. We all live in the same place. We definitely have common goals. We're all trying to get our degree, graduate, get a good job and whatnot. We share similar interests. We have different clubs and different sports teams, different activities that we all like to do, and we share that with one another. So that's definitely how A&T is just a community for us all. Anybody want to speak on how A&T is a community for them or how they found community in A&T or people at A&T?
I'll go ahead, Ryan.
Okay, I would say I think it's a community for me because it's just cool how everybody from all different types of background come to A&T and we still find the same things that we like to do. And it's like I always have people to go to for certain things.
Yeah, definitely. I resonate with that. Faith, did you want to say something? Did you want to add? No? Okay. Anybody else want to add anything? Cool, cool, cool. So this here is our community tree. As you can see, our tree has absolutely no leaves. And that's a problem for us because, you know, we want our trees to grow. We want it to be big, beautiful, all of that. So what we're going to do here is I want you guys to add words to the bare branches on this tree that kind of remind you of the A&T community or what community at A&T for you looks like. How you're going to do that is if you can see like at the top of your screens, or well, for me, it's at the top, but for you guys, it may be at the bottom. There's this button that says annotate and it has a little pen on it. You can click that and click the text button, and then a little text box should pop up. And you could just type in words that remind you of like the A&T community or what community looks like for you. So I'm gonna show you guys an example here. This is what community looks like for me. Can you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Put it right there.
And mine was at the top where it says view options. You click that and hit the annotate word.
So that's my little leaf. You guys add what your leaves would be. And if you don't see the button, you can always just put it in the chat and then I'll put it up here for you. If I can see the chat. Yeah.
And the question one more time, Jasmine.
Just what community means to you, like a word that means community for you, or what community here at A&T has looked like to you in the past, or what you want it to look like in the future. Respecting others. Okay, let me put these words up here. This is good. Encouraging each other. Common bonds. Accepting my identities. I like that. Diversity and fellowship. That's a good one. A safe place. I like that. That's really important for a sense of community. You always want to feel like you're in a safe place. I'm going to just put some of these words up here on our tree. Peace. Definitely. Definitely peace. The family away from home. I love that. I resonate with that so much, especially because I'm out of state. A&T has definitely been a family away from home for me. Equality. Amazing. I'm gonna just put a few more words up here. I'm gonna take a picture because this makes me happy. And if you want to come off mute and like elaborate further on one of your words, you're definitely free to do that.
Well, for me, the diversity and fellowship is really important. Especially like during my undergraduate, I went to a PWI, and it was a good university, but there wasn't like a lot of diversity. Like I was the only Black person in a building of like 600 residents. So coming here and seeing seeing people from all different backgrounds coming together and having fellowship with each other, which just really, really resonated with me.
That's good. Thanks for sharing that. Anybody else before we move on? I know for me, showing up for others, that's definitely a big depiction of community for me. Because here at A&T, you know, if something's wrong with me, I can always call up one of the roommates that I've had here at A&T, and I know they'll be there for me and whatnot. And classmates and whatnot, my SUAB e-board, I know they're there for me. Like, they would show up for me in that way. So that all is like a sense of community for me. And I really appreciate that.
I was going to say something that ties into what you said, but on safe place and a family away from home, because like I know sometimes students come here and they don't have a good home life. So like this is like where they're happy and where they have like their good moments. And then they also have the people here that show up for them like when they're going through something. So it's a good safe place.
Definitely.
A big one for me is like encouragement and encouraging each other, because it's like I like getting like hyped up, and I know other people like getting hyped up too. It just like it generates a lot of positive energy and just like lifts the atmosphere in the room.
That's good. Yeah, I resonate with everything that you guys have said. If you want to take a picture of the tree, you're welcome to do so, because I'm about to clear it in the next 5 seconds. So go ahead. But yeah, I really love this tree. Okay. Okay, so moving on to our discussion, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen for this just because I want us to all like have a good eye-to-eye contact with each other. I know it's kind of hard to see each other when I'm sharing my screen. And then I'm just going to throw like a few questions out there for us to talk about. If you have any questions that you want to ask, feel free to just like ask it when you're talking. It's not something that's really like overly formal or whatnot. But yes, I'm going to start sharing my screen again later. But the first question I want to ask you guys is, how can we as students begin to foster a sense of community here at A&T, even under the conditions that we're in? So I know we all have to be socially distant from each other, kind of sort of put ourselves in isolation in order to protect ourselves and each other. So how can we get that normal sense of community that we usually have coming to A&T while still being safe and still being mindful of everything that's happening in the world? How can we get that sense of community that we all just talked about? What are some ways?
I feel like it can be down to simply just calling somebody. I know that's like the most basic thing in the world, and it's not really that complex, but I can say before, when we were on campus or going to the student center, things like that. Well, I know personally for me, I can't speak for anyone else. It was easier for me to connect with people and learn about, oh, what are you gonna be doing later, or are you going to the caf? I'll go to the caf with you, and like building those bonds and that sense of community, because we had such an easier access of coming together on campus, but of course like now that's not the easiest thing. So I think now we have to be more intentional about communicating with our friends, like literally be like, okay, so I'm gonna call my friends, or maybe, hey y'all, like the Zoom parties. I think that's been really cool, especially for people's birthdays and stuff. But I would just say simply a phone call and being intentional about putting in effort to communicate.
Definitely. I like that, Imani. I know for me, I would definitely say having more spaces like this where we can all just kind of come together and talk to each other, kind of uncensored, unfiltered, and not have a place where, not be in a place where we're judging each other. So for me, this is like a big example of community right here. Ashton says being available and empathetic to your loved one's needs. Definitely.
I agree with what Amani said as far as finding out different ways to communicate with your friends, because it's hard to make that transition of, oh, I've been seeing you every single day in person, but now it's like I have to find time. We all have to find time for each other to call or FaceTime, and that can be like difficult. So like sometimes like I was worried for this school year as far as like classes and like how I would find community in my classroom, like being away from school. And I definitely think obviously that grouped me, because it's like, okay, like reminding me we're all going through the same things, we're all facing the same struggles. And it just kind of like is a sense of comfort to know that you're not going through this transition alone, you know?
I think Twitter is like a huge example of community, especially like A&T, with especially what is called like NCAT Twitter. So like when we have like things going on specifically at our school that only people at our school would know about, or like stories or events that happen that like only we would know about, that's kind of creates a community within itself.
That's so true. I haven't even thought about like social media and how we're still using that as a tool to kind of connect everybody while being socially distant. So that's good. Anybody else have anything to add?
I think like showing up, like if you know your friend is having like an event, like go out to it, maybe invite like some other friends. 'Cause like we essentially like can't hang out with each other in person, so like let's go to an online event together. I think that's community building as well.
For sure. I like that. Okay, another question for you guys. Unless somebody has something to say. Is somebody coming off mute? Okay. How do you feel about returning or not returning to campus in this climate?
Well, for me personally, I kind of really wanted to come back to school because I'm an out-of-state student too, like Jazz. So being at home wasn't really that fun for me anymore, or it wasn't really where I wanted to be. So I know it was like kind of a scary thing to move during the middle of a pandemic, but it was like I kind of needed it for my mental, for my my mental space basically, so I could be think better, be more free and stuff like that. So I kind of happy that I moved out here.
Yeah, I agree too. I'm an out-of-state student from South Carolina, so I love like living with my parents' house, but there's just something about it that was really, really, really bad for my mental health, especially being there for like 6 months. I do understand like we can't go to campus because of the coronavirus, but at least being able to like move into like an apartment or something, just having your own space to yourself, it's really helpful.
I agree with both of them because I'm also an out-of-state student, but like I just needed my own space back. Like being at home was cool for a certain amount of time. It was a little too long for me. But I was nervous at first, but comparing it to other schools, NCAT's doing a better job of controlling it, I think. So based off what they've told us, they're doing a better job. So I'm more comfortable now.
I'm gonna say I'm like kind of the opposite, just a little bit. Just because luckily, I can say I'm blessed to say that like quarantine forced me to like learn a lot about myself, and I had the opportunity to spend a lot of time with my family that I didn't have the opportunity to do before. So not only was I learning myself, but I was able to spend time with my family, and I had like a wonderful time. Like at first it was weird. Don't get me wrong. Like it was weird. I didn't think I was gonna be able to do it. But I did, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like my sisters are funny. my mom and dad are really cool. Like, so I had a lot of fun, and I know I had to like check on my grandparents and stuff pretty often to make sure that they're good. So coming back here, I have to be like extra precautious, and it honestly makes me a little bit more anxious. Because I know I have to go home sometimes just because my family's pretty busy, so they kind of look to me to help out with my grandparents a little bit more. So coming back here, I've actually been more anxious than I was when I was at home. But I just take it one day at a time, like I had to do before. It just takes me a minute to adjust. So I know eventually I'll be less anxious like I was when quarantine first started.
Thanks for sharing that. I know for me, originally, I was super excited to get out the house, come back to campus, be with my roommates and everything. Like, I was too pressed to leave Maryland. But when I actually got here, I don't know. I guess like my expectations were so high that I kind of disappointed myself when I moved in. Cause it's like, I don't know. We were kind of like in a privileged position to be able to come back to campus because not everybody had that luxury. But at the same time, just being here and seeing just how different it is, it's kind of made me sad because, you know, A&T, we're so used to being out on the yard or like having endless back to school parties and just going out with our friends and whatnot. And then like going to the football games and all of that. Like all of that is like such a big part of the A&T experience. And coming back, especially it being my senior year and just missing out on all those things, I don't know, it kind of leaves like this empty feeling inside just a little bit, not to be dramatic, but I mean, it is what it is. So I was expecting things to be different, obviously, but I guess I wasn't prepared for like being here and like actually feeling it and dealing with those emotions.
And one more thing, I would say just another part, just like I agree with you, Jess, but I think another aspect that kind of is boggling with my brain is the fact that we don't know when this is going to be over. Like, it's not the fact like, it's like, oh, okay, 2 or 3 more weeks of this, and then everything is good, and we can go back to normal. No, it's just like a question mark. So the uncertainty is kind of, I would say, like, kind of killing everybody slowly because you're trying to stay hopeful, you're trying to stay optimistic, but you're not in control of the entire situation, which kind of frustrates. I know me because, of course, if I just went up to someone and was like, can you just put your mask on so all this can be over? But I can't do that because, one, that's not my place, and 2, I'm out of control, like I said. So I would say the question mark of when this is going to be over and when life can be normal again is what's bothering me.
Okay. Thank you all for sharing. That was really good. Another question for you guys. So I know a lot of us talked a lot about being home those first 6 months of quarantine and whatnot, and then coming back and being in like a different environment. So how have you been setting boundaries like with your family, friends, professors, whatnot, or not setting boundaries, and how has that affected you? Or what boundaries have you need to put in place during this time, if any?
I would say for me, like I love to hug people and like embrace people in my arms and stuff. And so I know like coming back here, I was like, "Ugh, like I can't hug everybody right off the gate. Or sometimes I like, I hug some people, but like I had to feel their energy first to see like, okay, is this person going to want me to hug them? Rather than like last year, I was just bring it in, and it's different. And especially like me hanging out with my friends, I have a like a very big friend group. And it's like, if we want to come over, I'm like, dang, like maybe we should come over in tiny increments. Like everybody just can't come over at once. And it's just really hard, like dealing with that too.
I'll say for me, it's more on the discipline side of things. So I would say online classes isn't really my forte or my first go to or liking or whatever. And so I guess I just say just being able to kind of transition my mindset into, you got to lock in on this work. You're not gonna get reminded by teachers how you used to be when you would go to class. So I guess just staying on top of things is really my biggest thing that I got to get used to.
I definitely agree with that, especially with these 2.5 hour long classes, because those 50-minute classes, like sometimes if it wasn't a good class, you wouldn't be paying attention. And now I gotta sit in this class for 2.5 hours with like a 5-minute break, like every 50 minutes. That's not enough. That's really not enough. It's just a lot at times, especially like when you have a difficult professor. Like one of my professors, of course, he's not from this country, so speaks with an accent, and it's like I can barely understand what you're saying, and you speak really fast. So it's like, how am I supposed to actually learn this course? I have to really just teach myself a lot.
For me, before meeting with my friends, we planned on not meeting at all, but clearly we couldn't do that. So we all got tested beforehand. But the thing with testing is like, it takes at least 5 days to get your results back. And just because I have online classes, they have in-person classes, so you're still interacting with people. And the results could be negative when you take it then, but by the time you get them back, you've already been around a bunch of people. So like my mom, when I go back home, she wants me to get tested before entering her house again, but it's like the results could be different by the time I get back home. So I don't know. It's kind of a lot to take in and process because I'm not going to keep getting tested. That is not a delightful feeling. So I don't know.
Just a quick note in Greensboro. So I've gotten tested twice. I got tested in Charlotte, and since I've been here, because I have to go back home. In Charlotte, I got tested, like, you know how they have the mobile trucks, and they're like at different sites.
Yeah.
But I did it through Atrium, which is the hospital in Charlotte, and I got my results back in 2 days. And then in Greensboro, I got it done again, and I got it back in 1 day. So don't go to like these random clinics, random like urgent cares. Don't do that because I think their process is slower versus in the hospital, their stuff is more advanced, so they can tell you sooner. Like Greensboro, I literally got back in a day, and I went to the mobile truck through Cone Health, and it was much quicker. So if you have to get tested, do it through like the stuff to the hospital.
See, now that makes me feel better. Thank you.
Also, the Student Health Center is doing testing as well. You don't have to have your insurance card to go, which I think is great because it makes it more accessible to people. And I think we're doing testing this Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. So, if you've been in the student center and them large crowds getting them dollar bills from that rapper around all them people, you need to go and get tested on Saturday. I'm sorry, but you do.
I remember I had gotten an email and it gave like 3 dates that the health center was gonna do testing. But I remember it said that we had to have our insurance card. Like, do we not have to anymore?
To my knowledge, you can have your insurance card, but they're not turning away people who don't have it.
Okay.
I would say like one do work after 10:30, and I don't do work like in my room. Just to separate like my workspace from like my space where like I go to relax. I don't want to bring like that stress and anxiety of school like into my like the place where I sleep. So like I do all my work in the living room and like I'm done by 10:30 because like I'm not staying up late doing work because like everything is online. I want to get catched up. Like it's going to get done when it gets done.
So that's kind of like a boundary that you set with yourself.
I agree with that. I mean, I was like that before the virus. I just don't let school stress me out because it's going to get done eventually. But now that the virus, like I'm taking 18 credits this semester, so and they're all online. So I'm a little stressed out for once, but me planning everything out helps more.
Same.
I agree with Taylor. Planning out definitely helps because my brain is still stuck in summer, especially because I don't have any in-person classes really. So it's like, okay, like it's still.
I think you muted yourself.
Oh yeah, thanks, Chaz. But yeah, I agree with Taylor because I have to remind myself like I'm not in summer anymore. And it's time for school, but it's hard because when you don't have any in-person classes, and me, I only have Zooms for class like once a week on Mondays. So it's kind of hard to like manage my time, even though like obviously I don't have nothing to do. That's fine, but it's still hard for me to manage it, you know?
Yeah, I definitely get that. I've been struggling. I've been struggling with these classes, and granted, it's only like the second week, I think, or what have you. But I just feel like my professors don't really have an idea of what they're doing. And if they don't know, I definitely don't know. It's like half my classes are in person, but at the same time, we're not really meeting in person because they're trying to do this thing where they want half the class to come and then half the class to be on Zoom. And it's like, how do you determine who's coming and who's not? And it's like, I don't know, it's just really messy. And then I have multiple classes at the same time on Zoom. And it's like, how does that work? Because I can't be on two Zooms at once. So it's like, I don't know. It's not as organized as it could be, in my opinion. So that's just an added layer of stress. And then I know me, I've already had to set a few boundaries with my professors because some of these professors want you to have your camera on the whole time. And I'm just like, that's unrealistic for me. And I know I'm personally not doing that because that's just a lot. Like, I can have my camera off and, still be engaged in class. And like, I don't have to have this camera in my face for 2.5 hours. Like, that's just not something that I'm going to participate in. And, that's just what it is. Any last thoughts on that question? Okay, so the last question I'm going to pose, and then if y'all have any questions y'all want to ask each other or ask the group, y'all can definitely do that. But the last question I'm going to pose is how have you seen yourself change over this time period? And if you haven't, how do you want to change? Or like, what's different about you? What have you learned about yourself? All of that good stuff.
I'm usually an introvert, but like I recently learned that I really miss like rejecting invitations to go out. So now I'm like realizing that like I actually love to be around people, even though I've always thought I was an introvert. But now I'm realizing, I really do miss the company of people. I just miss the feeling of happiness when you can just like say like, no, I don't want to go ABC.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Even though, like, I would go out, there'd be times where I'm just like, "Ugh, social interaction is too much. And now that we don't have a lot, I'm in my room like, dang, maybe I am part extrovert. Like,
I agree. I'm a little bit of both, but like when I used to not feel like going out, I wouldn't really have a reason, so I would go out. But now I have a reason, and it's valid. So that's one thing COVID has given me, a real reason not to go out.
I would say one thing that COVID has shown me about myself is that I can be like usually like I don't really bring my like artistic or creative side out of me, but I've learned how to crochet. I started painting. Like I started well, I started knitting, but like it didn't really work out for me that well. But like I started doing so much with my hands that I didn't know I could really do. And it's just like, okay, I have the time, I might as well use it. And I use my time so wisely. Like, and I really do like love that so much.
That's so good. I'm so happy for you.
Yes, Janelle, I did the same thing. I learned how to crochet and it's so much fun. Some of my friends make fun of me for it, but I really don't care because I'm having a wonderful time. And I made a blanket, like a whole blanket, and I just really like it. And it's just really cool to see, especially because you just learned it. Because like you said, we have nothing but time. So it's like, why not? So I can say COVID taught me how to enjoy alone time. Because I know before I'm definitely an extrovert, and that's why I said at the beginning I was like, I'm not gonna be able to do this just because I love social interaction. Like sometimes that just feeds me. Like I love it. So when it forced me to just be like, nah, you gonna sit here and you're gonna figure out how to have fun by yourself. So I learned how to do that, and I've had a wonderful time.
One thing COVID taught me is how to persevere through certain things that I had going on. You know, at the beginning of COVID, I got a job at FedEx, and I was like, yeah, the check can be straight, so I might as well just go ahead and tough it out. But I hated going to work every single day. I was like, yo, this is not it, because I was working that graveyard shift, so I was going in at like midnight and leaving at like 5 a.m. So I was like, yo, this is not for me, bro. But then I just thought back every day, you know, like, well, at the beginning of this, I said I wanted to push through something for this whole summer, even though I had all this stuff going on. So that's what I'm gonna do, and that's what I did.
I know for me, over this like COVID period, I've definitely got more in touch with my spirituality. I feel like I've definitely furthered my relationship with God and with the universe and whatnot. Because I mean, I really didn't have a choice. There would be times in quarantine when we were back at home where I would get like really sad and really depressed, and I feel like so alone because essentially I was alone. But at the same time, um, that emotion kind of put me in a place where I had nobody else to turn to but God. So that's something that's been really positive for me. I don't know. I don't know if I would have had the time to like recognize that my relationship with God wasn't what I wanted it to be without having this period where everything just stopped. So, yeah, I'm grateful for that. Definitely.
I wanted to add one more thing, like just because you brought that into my head, like one other thing that it was a thought in my head, but I never really thought about it until like it started happening during COVID, is that like appreciate people while you have them, because I've had like during COVID, I had a lot of people like passed away and whatnot, which was like very unexpected. And so it's like, dang, like, why didn't I just send that text back, or why didn't I call them back and whatnot? So it's like COVID really made me like tell my family I love them, like tell my friends that I love them, call my friends, call the family that I don't really talk to and stuff like that. And it really like, in a sense, brought my family closer together because of everything that happened. So that was a really good point too.
Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I feel like COVID has put us all in some difficult spaces, but at the same time forced us to evolve in ways that we never would have imagined. So, anybody else have any last thoughts on that or have anything that they want to put out there to the group? Joshua asks, what keeps you motivated to keep doing SUAB despite the pandemic? Any SUABers? Anybody from SUAB want to talk about
For me, it was one of the main reasons I came back to campus, actually, because it's my first year on the e-board, and it's just like a family feel. Like, they're so welcoming and we all get along. I don't know. Like when my mom was trying to convince me to stay home, I'd be like, no, I gotta go back to school for SUAB. Like that was one of my main reasons. And she would think I'm joking, but I was really serious. Like I really came back for this. And I don't know. I just feel like just because we can't do it now, I know that means we're gonna go harder in the spring.
Period. No limit.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, just like the students want to have fun, we want to have fun too. So like we really want to like bring the students like the energy that we already have and already are planning, because like I said, like just like everyone else wants to have fun, we want to have fun at our own events too. So like just keeping that energy up.
And to piggyback off of what Taylor said, a lot of us are like interns together. We've seen each other grow. You know, we've had fun together. We've laughed together. We've gone through a lot of things together. And I just feel like that family-oriented aspect, that's just something that I didn't want to miss out on my senior year. So that's why I love SUAB.
I
I don't
definitely,
know. Oh, you can go, Uriah. You can go.
Okay. I definitely think like I was like, imagine a school year with COVID and with no events. Like the people deserve. So that's really what also keeps me going. I also like everybody on the e-board, but really the fact that I know like how it feels to like obviously be dealing with school during this time. And so when you can help be a part of like the change that could maybe like make somebody happier during this whole pandemic, then that'll really keep you going.
I really agree with everything Uriah just said. That was literally what I was going to say. Like, what's really motivating me is like the fact that I'm helping other people, and it's like I'm like being a part of something that's bringing joy to other people and possibly happiness and a fun time. So it's like, why not? Like, we're not doing anything else. Why not do this while we're in the pandemic?
Yeah, I echo those sentiments. I know, especially for me, when all our events got turned virtual, I know me, I was ready to throw in the towel. I was like, yo, I don't see no point. Like, what's the point, you know? But then, like, my e-board, SUAB family, they definitely reinforced the idea of, like, community that we talked about earlier, like, how we're all a family, we're all in this together, we can't give up on each other. And just the fact, like, of the students. I know we're all in a difficult time, so that's something that motivated me to keep doing this. I know, like specifically for this event, I'm thinking about how the students will have to come back to an A&T that has shifted so much and something that they're not used to. It made me want to give students a space where they can like interact with one another and like just be candid and be honest with one another and just share each other's feelings and whatnot. So the students, you guys, and ourselves, you know, definitely motivated me to keep doing SUAB despite everything going on. Oh yeah, Jeremy said, where are some good group chats to join? Yeah, definitely get on that NCAT hashtag. You know, like Darren was saying earlier on Twitter, that's a group chat right there. You know, you could put anything hashtag. And then I know people be making group chats and putting on the hashtag, so that's a good way to find some group chats. Okay.
I have a question for everyone. So like one thing that I do for myself like every school year is I try to set a goal or try to say, okay, I accomplished this much this year. What can I accomplish next year? Next year. So like what are some things you guys want to accomplish by this time next year, I should say.
By this time next year, I hope to be in a classroom, virtually or in person, whatever, you know, is coming up next. But I'm an education major, so I, you know, striving to get my license and things like that so I can be established and just start building up these kids and just giving them some good energy during this difficult time.
That's beautiful.
For me, by this time next year, I should be applying to law school. So I hope to have like my list narrowed down to what law schools I want to attend. And now I kind of have to base it off whether this virus would be gone or not, depending on how far I want to travel for law school. Also, who gives me the most money because I'm not paying for school again. So I hope I just have a list together so that by time next year comes around, I know what I want to do.
I know for me, I'm in a space where I don't know what the world is going to be looking like a year from now. Therefore, I don't know what I'm going to be looking like a year from now. And that's okay. I'm going to still keep going. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe grad school, maybe sitting at home with my mother, maybe working a part-time job at Urban Outfitters, or maybe having a full-time job in my major. So there's a lot of different things that could happen. And honestly, I'm trying to be okay with any of those possibilities because, what's for you is going to be for you, period.
For me, I see myself at this time next year, like Imani, teaching in a classroom, whether that's in person or virtually. I'm an elementary education major, so hopefully in elementary school, possibly teaching sixth grade and middle school. I don't know yet. Possibly grad school. I'm still up in the air. A lot of people have advised me against doing that, just saying like your first year teaching, you shouldn't go to grad school. But I'm like, if I have the momentum to do it, why not knock it out now? So my goal for this year is figuring out whether or not that's what I want to do. And then my other goal for like just school this year was just to get more involved on campus. Like this is my last year and I pretty much haven't done much of anything on campus. So I wanted to kind of step out of my comfort zone and get involved and join organizations and just see what's going on campus. And now that things are virtual, it's a little different, but I'm here. So that's the first step. But that's my goal.
And there's an org fair coming up. It's never too late to get involved. We have a virtual org fair. Well, not we. COP has a virtual org fair, but we're going to be there. So all the orgs are going to be on Zoom. So there's still a chance for you to get involved in different organizations if you want to. Definitely. And you're getting involved by coming to our events. So that's good. We have a bunch of other events coming up too. So you can still come out to those. Very good. Last thoughts before I continue on and then we get out of here. Okay. So that was a really good discussion. What's next? Because I don't want to end on a kind of negative note. If you are struggling with adjusting to new campus life, I'm just going to go over a few tips to help you cope with it. The first one here is allow yourself time to grieve the old normal. So I know for me, I spoke on this experience coming back to school. I had the expectation that things were going to be different, but getting here really kind of smacked me in the face, and I've been sad about that, which is okay. You have to allow yourself time to process these emotions, because if you don't, it's just going to fester. It's not going to go away. You're not really going to get through it if you don't allow yourself that allotted time to feel. Definitely feel it. Don't stay there in that low place, but allow yourself time to process it and to grieve, because this is a loss and you have a right to feel how you feel about it. The second thing is journal your experience. Writing about your experiences can be very therapeutic. Yeah, it's a good alternative to having to talk to somebody about your feelings if that's not what you want to do. So that's definitely a good tool to use. And gratitude journaling, what it says right here, this is something that I've really gotten into. It just helps you keep a positive energy flowing, even though things may not be what you expect them to be. writing down the things that are still going good in your life, that you're still thankful for, like having a roof over your head, having good friends that check up on you. Just acknowledging these things and like expressing gratitude for these things can really help to put you in a positive space. And just remind you that like while things may not be the best, everything isn't bad and there are still good things in your life to look forward to. Start connecting in new ways. Yeah, we have to be socially distant. We can't be in big groups around each other like we used to be, but you can connect in different ways. You can connect one-on-one. You can go see a friend, leave a gift basket at their door, write letters. There are definitely different ways you can connect to people. While we do have to be socially distant, we don't have to disconnect with one another. We can still be there for each other. We can still interact. We can find different and creative ways to do that. So these tips are on this website. I'm going to drop them in the chat if you want to look at the other ones they have on there. And the last two, set a routine. This was a big thing for me too, because especially at the beginning of quarantine, I was just getting up like 3 minutes before class and then just logging on, turning off my screen. And it would be days that I would do that. And it wasn't healthy. So eventually I had to get up, put on clothes, act like I'm regularly going to school just to have that sense of normalcy. And setting a routine is just one way that you can kind of get that normalcy back in your life. And yeah, that's that. And we talked about boundaries earlier. It's very important to set boundaries during this time because it's a dangerous time. So set boundaries with your family, your roommates, your professors. Like I said, I had to set boundaries with my professors earlier. So yeah, don't be afraid to do that because being in a space with a person for like an extended amount of time, things can get annoying, things can get heated, and a whole bunch of situations can arise. So it's definitely good to set boundaries with people to keep our relationships intact and to keep them healthy and just to prevent added stressors onto your life. So there's that. Any closing thoughts? Or anybody want to add some more tips that you've used to cope?
Go on a good walk. I've been walking every day and I've had a wonderful time.
I agree. I started doing yoga. It helps a lot.
I started doing journaling and it really helps me stay organized and positive. I have like a manifestation journal. So it really helps me when I'm feeling down and stuff.
That's good. I started meditating a lot over quarantine and it's just helped me to ground myself. A lot of times I can get in like these thought spirals in my head and like I can't really shut up what's going on up there. So meditation has been a tool for me to just ground myself in the moment and sit with myself without the pressure of like not being productive or the pressure of negative thoughts replaying over in my mind. Just giving myself time to be and to just be still and to just exist in the world.
Yeah, I just want to add, like, quarantine has really been a time for me to like reflect on like myself, like you guys have been saying. Like, I've definitely learned a lot, and I've definitely feel like I've grown, even though it's only been like a couple months. I feel like I've definitely grown over this time, and it came out a new person or a better person than I was when I first came in, of course. So yeah, it was a good healing time, I should say.
Definitely.
And learn something out of your comfort zone, guys. I will vouch for crocheting every single time. It's so fun and relaxing. It really is. It's so much fun. So it's just something that you never thought that you would learn how to do because it was so satisfying once I saw my big blanket thing. Because it was like, wow, I really did that myself. It looks like I bought it at the store.
I agree with you too, because I knew I could draw, but I've never taken in painting. So when I just went and brought a bunch of painting stuff, it's just something that I enjoy a lot more now, especially during my free time.
Okay, everybody, that was it for me. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you guys for engaging in this beautiful conversation. I had a great time talking with you, bouncing ideas, feelings, all of that. So